we've got a fantastic 10 minutes for you now from Salesforce, our title sponsors of the event. This is 10 plus years in the making. And we're thrilled to have Rachel Boyles back. Rachel is a veteran of, now a quick veteran of the Email Insider Summit. And Rachel's she's a product marketing manager over at the company. Rachel, let's bring her in. Let's say hi. How are you doing?
Hi, John.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's always nice to see some of these familiar faces.
Yeah, and like the last time we saw each other was in this format at this show.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in a box, but you know, we're on our way.
Well, hey, thanks so much for taking a minute with us here and your continued support, and just you and Blake and Sam and Shelby and Rachel. You're Rachel. I mean, all the team, Nicole and everyone over there. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks for doing this. And you've got building the next generation email program to talk about today, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty big task I'm undertaking.
Totally. Well, why don't you pull up your screen? Let's just make sure that your presentation's looking good to go, and then we'll give you the floor here.
Let's see. Can you?
Okay. Looks great. And yeah, I mean, I won't take up any more time, but thank you again for doing this and looking forward to it. So take it away.
Great. All right. Thank you, John. And just again, thank you everybody at Media Post. And just as much as you guys enjoy working with us, we love working with you all. And everybody, I think not being a panelist, just an attendee, and not knowing how many other people are on, just joining as a panelist and seeing that there's a lot of people on. So this is great. I know that I also just love that you're making it really easy and accessible to join for everybody when it's just a couple of hours in the afternoon. And we can all just spend some time talking about email. So without further ado, as John said, talking about building the next generation email program, it's very easy to say. Ultimately, what I'm going to take you through is just kind of how we're thinking about that step here at Salesforce. And if you had a chance to read the description or the way we were thinking about it for today, really it's just this idea of like, here we are, right? We have all been talking about this. We've spent countless Media Post, Email Insider Summits talking about how we are going to get there. Well, we all kind of had to rush getting there in a way. It wasn't necessarily the most direct path, but we're really at this like digital first, always on, work from anywhere type of future that we've been talking about, because here we are doing Media Post from our homes. But one for sure that we'll all be looking forward to, fingers crossed, for December, right? So anyways, we'll just walk through some of the ways that we're thinking about it and how important really it can be to have the right tools in place. And just want to level set on like some of the data that, you know, we've been looking at. I think even just hearing Steve talk about it, hitting these points pretty quickly, just how, you know, they're not surprising, but I think one thing that's really compelling is like looking at this first chart here of, you know, customers who are saying how they're going to split their time. It was pretty easy for a lot of people to say, well, I'll probably be spending about 40% of my time online. But once 2020 came, that shift quickly jumped to 60%. It's probably more looking forward as we all continue to learn more. But this data coming out of our state of the connected customer. So, you know, this is not news to us, but really just seeing how large that shift is, it swung. And again, like here we are type of a moment. And I think what's really interesting is we often talk about how much a customer prefers or how much they place weight on the experience, where they're just as likely to value the experience as they are the product or the service. So we've been talking about experience a lot. And I think a word that we're starting to see kind of become more common within that as well is convenience, where customers are starting to prioritize convenience over brand. So just as Steve said earlier, just a few minutes ago about, you know, if your email after you do your like a food delivery order, if that email doesn't come pretty quickly, we're all, you know, starting to wonder, did it go through? Do I need to call? All these types of things. So it's that convenience being the brand for the customer when they need them the most, with all of the right information in the right place to make it easy. We're all craving a little bit more ease in our lives. So as a marketer, a lot of the ways that we do that, right, is we like try to bring all the different data points together. And I've really been thinking about it, and just the way that we are looking at it at Salesforce is your data is what's giving you that insight to be there for your customer when they need you the most, and giving you that right information to communicate in a way that really resonates with each individual, really allowing you to be that empathetic marketer, right? To be there in the moment, communicate in the right way. But you need all of that data to help you get there. So we're definitely seeing this continued increase in data sources. So from 2019 to 2021, seeing a 50% increase in data sources, which is great, right? It means a lot more tools and ways that you can personalize and data that you can action on, but it also kind of comes with some additional challenges of being able to wrangle all of that data. And also just starting to think about the plethora of the different types of data. So everything from transactional data to getting into known digital identities. I think with the previous conversation about, even thinking about CDPs and how important those types of tools will be, big undertakings, right? And big shifts to make. And today, really just speaking specifically on what this looks like from an email perspective. So what we're thinking about your next generation email program is rooted in three main areas, which are about personalizing every moment, driving customer engagement, and then turning insights into action. So if you were to do three things this year to really amp up your email programs, these are the areas that we really think about focusing on and helping marketers do that. So just looking at what those really mean and how to get there. So I think when we talk about personalizing every moment, AI is such a key piece of that, especially within what we're working on at Salesforce. So there's a few things when we start talking about AI. It's AI that's out of the box. It's AI that's easy for a marketer and a developer to use. It's being able to target, personalize, and activate your data without having to have a full data science team to help you do that, or like a full insights team to help you do that. Really just taking the data that you're using in the tool and giving you insights and ways to action on it in a really smart and intelligent way. And I really like to look at it as AI for every step of the message creation process, from building segments and understanding your content. So things like engagement scoring, to really start to know like who's your most likely to open audience for any type of channel, and really starting to understand, or maybe who might not be opening in the near future, and starting to plan some strategies around that too. I'm sending the right type of message. So you're building your segment and you're starting to pick your content and think about your copy and the subject line, and having the right type of data, something that can analyze at scale across all of your different programs and your different messages, and really to start to see how everything's performing to help influence picking, like helping you pick the right piece of content. And that also that element of natural language processing as you're crafting that message, and then really sending at the right time and sending at the right number of messages for each individual. So thinking about that, I might like opening my messages at 8 a.m. and John might open his later in the day, or maybe even earlier. Maybe he's an early bird, right? So just thinking about making sure that the email gets there at the right time for that individual. And then also to look at it that maybe I don't like getting as many emails and maybe someone else likes getting more, or vice versa, right? I'm making sure that the frequency aligns, that by sending an additional message, you're not actually putting yourself at risk of potentially losing that subscriber. So again, just thinking about AI across the entire message creation process, making it available so it's something really easy to just drop into your communications. It doesn't have to be this like really overthought type of experience. And really, I think what's also key when we talk about AI is having ethical usage built into it with some transparency. So you and your team can know, how does this model come together? What are the components behind it? How does my data perform? Do I have the right amount of data to get the most out of this model? So giving data quality scores and metrics is something else that we think about a lot with AI, but also giving guidance of maybe this isn't the right type of metric or the right attribute to maybe structure your AI around, because it might maybe, alienate a specific group, or, it might result in not the best outcome. So being able to give some recommendations and guidance from an ethical perspective as well. And then when we think about driving engagement and making the experience more of an engaging experience for the subscriber, the key here for us is all about interactivity. It's interactivity from everywhere from the which channel to engage with and which journey to send them, all the way down to how the type of message that we're sending. So especially when we're looking at email, encouraging in-email engagement's been really important to us. So if you've been following along at all, we started with the interactive email form block last April. So we're coming up at about a year of that, and lots and millions of cents of in the interactive email form block, to now getting into the support for AMP for email. So just pulling in an example of what that looks like for the future of a use case is being able to let a subscriber, talking about convenience, having a subscriber schedule an appointment all within the comforts of their email inbox. That's where AMP is really helping you bring together the interactive and the real-time data component, ultimately to help you create a better experience, create more convenience, and ultimately use that data to drive future personalization. I did include a quick little call out to, if you want to dive deeper into some AMP use cases, just to see, our team's been doing some great work just building out, like, I don't know, maybe 15 different use cases. That's a quick guess, but I think that's around the number. Or more of different ways to start to use AMP within your messages. So just some cool ideas to start to brainstorm. And then lastly is the insights, turning insights into action, and insights that help you move as fast as your customers move, insights to help you move at the speed of your customer. And just super excited about bringing this very dynamic visual reporting experience with the Datorama toolset directly into the UI, and being able to start to analyze email campaigns and journeys, and doing so with ease, and being able to like get all the different slices of data, but then also easily sharing it throughout your team. So just giving you the insights that you need to do that. So I got us through pretty quickly. If only it was that simple to cover it all. I do just have I had a couple of things. If you do want to dive in deeper about some Salesforce stuff coming up, we've got a great event next week. So it's like, we're just heavy into virtual event time, but if we're talking about the digital marketer's journey next week, and then kicking off June with connections. So two events to check out, but that's everything.
Wow.
Thank you. Hi, John.
Yeah, thanks so much. And your connections thing is always such a blowout every year. So you guys are all good to go and a full force there, huh?
Yeah, we've got a lot of great connections. There's going to be one day of on-demand and live virtual content. So really kind of like choose your own adventure type of situation. So I'm really excited about it. I think one in particular, we're going to have a session just on AMP for email to dive into how to do it more, to even holiday readiness types of content that we're doing a lot of, like, production from home and live events and all sorts, but we're going to try to make it fun as we can while we're in our boxes.
Yeah. Well, welcome to our world, but I'm sure it'll be great. And thank you so much for doing this today. We really appreciate it. You actually have a question here from Kim from the audience, but what we'll do is, if you don't mind, if you'd respond to Kim either directly or here on the chat box, but more importantly, if you would actually put down your email address so folks can get in touch with you as we go here, either privately or in public, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll just share my email here, and then I can follow up with Kim.
Cool. And I love the AMP stuff. So cool. You guys are really laying heavy on that. That's going to be great. So as always, thank you so much. You guys are great. And I hope to see you in person in December.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right.